Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Haim. Republicans have been desperate to find anything at all to attack Kamala Harris and to see if it sticks. They've thrown everything at her but the kitchen sink. They've done the classics, the Republican old school classics of racism. They tried that. Well, it's the year 2024, so not so much. They tried sexism. Come on, they always got sexism in the arsenal. That didn't work so well either. They even reverted back to good old school birtherism, kind of questioning if whether she's from here or whatever. It seems so 2016 and hacky, but whatever. That's just how sweaty and desperate they all are. So naturally, Fox News, which is essentially the mouthpiece of MAGA, despite the fact that they had to settle $1 billion lawsuit for basically lying to their miserably uninformed audiences about the election results of 2020, they are also desperate in trying to find anything and are manufacturing complete and utter nothing burgers with Kamala Harris, which can be evidenced in yesterday's episode of Fox and Friends. Let's take a look at that.
Ainsley, she doesn't even have a campaign theme. If you go on the website, there's no issues, there's no theme. At least Obama had Change You Can Believe in. You had Bill Clinton that had his theme. You had George W. Bush, compassionate conservatism. They had something. Well, there's not even a theme.
We're going to see it next week.
There's no even a video. Why am I running? Every candidate does this. Why am I running? I want to do this. I want to change this. There's nothing.
But there's a movement. She says what she's telling the voter is, I don't need to have a theme. I don't need to have issues. I don't need to tell you how I'm voting. People, I'm getting the crowds. People like me. And they're just so grateful that Joe Biden's not running.
That's right.
They're going to vote for me no matter what. Doesn't matter if she's flip-flopped on everything. That's why the American voter needs to wake up and look at her voting record. You have to look at these issues. What is she going to do to our country? Is she going to make our country better? Has it been better over the last 3 years since she's been vice president? No. She is so progressive.
All the people that are pushing her, all the pundits on TV, you do realize they won't have to live in this type of economy. They'll be just fine. Their families will be okay. Their kids will go to the private schools. There will be no hit to them. It will be you that have to deal with the gas prices, go to the grocery store.
The crime.
They'll have private security while they wanted to fund the police, just so you know.
Don't you remember when Bernie Sanders started screaming socialism? We were all shocked. But in the beginning, when he started doing it, we were shocked. Like, what? This is America. We're a republic. We're not a socialist, Marxist country. He starts preaching this, and we're all in shock. She votes more progressive than he does. America needs to wake up. This woman who's getting on stage that everyone is rallying around, do you know what she stands for?
And, does she know? Her team would say, look, we're doing just fine. We're leading a little bit in a lot of the polls. And so it will be interesting, given the fact she has not sat down for an interview because her team...
Or stated a policy.
She doesn't really need to. Coming up next week, apparently she's going to come out with a platform. We're going to see those videos about this is my vision for America. It will be interesting to see whether or not people like what she's proposing because so far she hasn't proposed anything, so she can't turn anybody off.
Well, no, she is proposing. She's going to be strong on the border. She's going to crack down on crime. She's going to not tax on tips.
Exactly.
She's trying to be more MAGA than Donald Trump. That's what she's doing because that's more popular than what she stood for and who she worked for.
Well, don't be surprised if at the conclusion of the DNC next week she says, and I'm Kamala Harris, and I want to make America great again.
Right?
Or whatever George...
She sounds like all of a sudden more of a Republican.
Right,
and she owes it all to George Clooney.
Yep.
If it wasn't for Clooney writing that letter, that started the spiral.
And Nancy Pelosi.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, you guys. I know you were hoping it was going to be Sleepy Joe, right? You thought you were just going to be running up against Joe Biden again, and the only attack line you had on him was his age, nothing else. But now that Joe dropped out, not only do we have the bounty that is the decrepit, rotting, fascist orange of Trump, we have everything else that we always had on him. I know. Tough, right? Speaking of which, do you think you can not maybe take out your teeth when you have an interview with the second most hated man in America? Donnie, maybe don't do that. Don Old next time. But do not fear, Fox and Friends, because if Kamala Harris is elected and becomes the first female African-American president, You can focus on such important issues and her being a treasonous terrorist, like possibly putting mustard on a burger. She might do that. Oh, she might also wear a tan suit. Ooh. Now, why could the MAGA mannequins at Fox News be freaking out so much?
The race for the White House fired up. In Las Vegas, Vice President Harris capping off a whirlwind of a week, crisscrossing the country with running mate and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
When we fight, we win!
With just 1 week into the Democratic National Convention, the new Democratic ticket marched through 5 battleground states, including Arizona and Pennsylvania. Harris said to unveil her economic plans this week.
It'll be focused on the economy and what we need to do to bring down costs and also strengthen the economy overall.
Harris strongly disagreeing with former President Trump's suggestion that presidents should get a say in the Federal Reserve's interest rate decisions.
The Fed is an independent entity, and as president, I would never interfere in the decisions that the Fed makes.
Harris also pushed to raise the minimum wage and echoed Trump's call to make income from tips tax-free. Trump accusing Harris of stealing his proposal to eliminate taxes on tips, a proposal that would still need congressional approval.
I'd rather run against her. I think she's easier to beat. This election is about saving our economy, ending inflation, securing our borders.
But a new New York Times Siena College poll shows Harris now leading Trump by 4 points in 3 battleground states, still within the margin of error. This as Trump's vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, continues to defend his comments, describing women and families without children as childless cat ladies.
Do I regret saying it? I regret that the media and the Kamala Harris campaign has frankly distorted what I said. I said I want us to be more pro-family.
Meanwhile, amid reports by the New York Times of turmoil inside the Trump campaign with little strategy since Harris rose to the top of the Democratic ticket, Trump is projecting confidence, writing on social media that this campaign is his best thus far. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
I knew it was something. Did I get it? Did I get it, Fox News? Did I find out what's got your panties in a twist? She's beating dementia Donald in all the critical battleground swing states. Ah, that's why you're upset. Like I said, though, don't worry, because there's always the possibility that she'll put Dijon mustard on a burger, and that'll be your gotcha moment of the century. Well, I'm Michael Hain. This is Really American. If you like our content, you know what to do. Please hit that subscribe button. And check me out on TikTok while I still have this latest account at Mike Hain Comedian. Talk to you later.